I'm not an environmentalist. You know, the word green gets misused nowadays. I think people use that as a revenue avenue. You know, oh, let's say it's green and maybe we'll sell more stuff. And I think you're going to see a lot of people jumping on the bandwagon and opening green sections and not making the proper requirements to preserve those areas and protect the consumer. And I felt very strongly that this needed to be about preserving this place. I'm Edward Bixby from Steelmantown Cemetery. One day I was reading the newspaper and I read about green burial and kind of ironically realized that was everything that this place was. What we have here are two different types of burial plots. We have our meadow section, which is located in the historic section of the cemetery. And basically what we've done is we've stayed within tradition as far as the way a conventional cemetery is laid out in that section. Then we've created what we call our eco trail. We offer what you call woodland or off-trail burial off of this trail system. And this type of burial is very low impact. The grave sites are very large to accommodate a burial because of the trees and the vegetation. All the soil and the vegetation that's removed is replaced exactly the way it was removed. And then as we come up here, there's an example of an off-trail burial site. The customers here are allowed to have a stone. This particular burial occurred during a really big snowstorm, and it was really beautiful. The day after that particular storm, these limbs had fallen out of this pine tree onto this grave site, and you know, we don't touch those. The nice thing is that we're bordered by the Belle Plaine State Forest, which is thousands of acres, so that affords us the luxury of really never having this particular property developed. So it'll forever be the way it is. It's kind of an irony, you know, people call this new when actually it was the only form of burial prior to, I would say, somewhere around the Civil War. I may not be exact on that, but I know embalming came into fashion then.
We do leave brochures around the funeral home, and oftentimes people will be attending a funeral and they'll pick the brochure up and they'll say, wow, I didn't know you could do this. A lot of people have a misconception that the body has to be embalmed, it has to be in a casket, it has to be in a vault, which is not true.
When a family contacts me, if a loved one passes away, typically we have to have the interment within 24 or 48 hours from time of death, unless there's proper refrigeration. But what would happen would be, we require 24 hours notice to open a gravesite. Family would call me. They would either come out and, if they hadn't already been here and prearranged, come out and pick a gravesite, we would open that for them. The families can be as hands-on as they choose to be. We will allow them to carry the loved one into the chapel, to the gravesite, lower them down. They can backfill the grave if they choose. Really, we kind of stand back and allow them to be in control. There are no time constraints. It's very cathartic for them to be able to participate in this. They leave and they say, you know, thank you very much. And it's a weird kind of reaction, but it's because they could actually be part of it. And a lot of people can't accept death, and that's the hardest part. And I think this makes it easier for them to accept it as far as being final and being part of the process.